Scott Baldwin with Darkhorse Expeditions. We have organized a small group, guys, to try to combat PTSD and suicide, and just kind of bring awareness to some of the struggles that some of our fellow soldiers and Marines and airmen and sailors are dealing with. And so we thought coming out here into God's great mountainside and hunting elk was the way to decompress and chat with each other about how we cope. It seemed like once a month I was getting a telephone call from one of my buddies from the Marine Corps who was telling me about somebody that we knew or someone from our unit who had chosen to commit suicide. And it was just heartbreaking, and you feel helpless, and you get out of the military and you don't completely stay in touch with all the guys that you served with. It's very, periodically, once a year, you maybe chat with them, or you talk to them on Facebook or email or telephone call here and there, and then all of a sudden you hear they were struggling and you never knew. And so I know a lot of the guys that I served with, hunters, fishermen, they like the outdoors. The military sometimes lends itself to that, and certainly guys that were in combat, like the outdoors. That's probably why they were in the military in the first place. And it seemed like a good venue would be to speak to them on their level, and have a place where they're comfortable chatting about the things that they struggle with as it relates to PTSD. And I think most Marines that I served with are pretty tight-lipped about this, and you got some old Corps Marines that won't talk about it at all. And I'm glad to see these days there's more willingness to talk about it, and I think we have to talk about it. I think that's really the crux of Darkhorse Expeditions. We want to bring guys and gals who are struggling but are coping very well, and talk about those mechanisms that we use to cope.
Yeah, so my name's Garten, and I serve with Scott in the Indiana State Senate, and we think we started together for a couple of years now. And I got a call from Scott one day, and he said, "Hey man, I got this idea for a nonprofit, and I just want to help vets with PTSD, and I want to put men and women who are thriving in front of them on YouTube, on TV, just to talk about the mechanisms at which that they're using to cope with PTSD from some sort of service connection." And before Scott got done, I said, "Man, absolutely, I'm all in. Tell me what you need from me." And
$100,000 in a check.
Yeah. Do you take Bitcoin? But yeah, just really excited about being a small part of Darkhorse Expeditions. And look, these are America's heroes, and anything we can do to help men and women not just cope, but again, we want to thrive. And we're vets. We're the 1% of what this country is built on from a national defense standpoint. And I think we live in a time and in a nation where people want to honor that. When you look at the statistics about 22 veterans a day committing suicide, we can't help but self-reflect and say, what can we do, right? Those are our friends. Those are our the men and women we served with. And so anything we can do, anything I can do to be a part of something that's helping with that, I just want to be all in for that. And so I commend Scott for the work he's doing, and Nick, and just a really cool mission and a really cool field to serve in. So.
And thank you for that, because these guys get out of the military and they lose that camaraderie and that, I guess, that support system.
Yeah.
There's nobody to call, nobody to hang out with, and they sit at home on their couch and stare at the pistol on the coffee table.
I think this is just another opportunity to try to help and to try to serve our country. And I think it's reaching out to those 22 veterans a day that just go to a dark place and can't find their way back. And so if you're watching this right now and you're having bad thoughts, man, make a phone call. Just pause for a second. Call the suicide hotline. Call one of your best friends, man. Call somebody you served with, even if you haven't talked to them for years. Man, you served this country. We want to honor you. We want to take care of you as best we can. And there's countless programs out there, certainly in the state of Indiana and even nationally. And Scott or I, either one, would love to help you get connected with that. And just
get on your knees and talk to God.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know Him.
Yeah, that's a fact.